The views expressed on the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast are solely those of Joshua Adam Lopez. It's not a representation of MonoCards.com or the NEI Wrestling Network. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to sit back, relax, and strap it down, because our SummerSlam special, episode 67 of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, starts right now.
You know what I'm gonna do about it? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tweet my displeasure. That's right. I'm gonna jump on social media and I'm gonna tweet about it until my fingers bleed. I might even send an Instagram or a Vine. That's right. And on that tweet, in that tweet, and however many characters I get, I am gonna threaten. That's right. If I don't get what I want, I'm gonna riot. And if that doesn't work, then by God, me and my friend Mark, we're going to stop watching. That's right.
A lot of our guys, unfortunately, listen to the people on the internet, who the so-called, the so-called experts who've never laced up a pair of boots.
Good or bad, the internet?
The ones that call themselves experts and, and have all these, the cures for the ailments of our business. You know what? I think they're a big joke. And the people that buy into this, they're only smart because of what we let them be smart too. But you listen to them, and they've got all the answers, and this guy needs to be pushed.
Good. Where's the smart marks at?
They're talk to him.
Good. Can I?
Yeah, I would love you to.
Can I really?
You know how I feel.
Can I swear?
Absolutely. Ask your friends over here.
All right, fuck you. And this is my biggest problem with the so-called fans and stuff like that. Like they have these words in their lexicon that they read on the internet from
someone else,
like Meltzer or something like that, and they use them out of context. They have no idea what it means. You know what I mean? And I actually I said this to one of our writers one time. They said something like, "Oh, and then you're going to do this, and then you're going to get heat." And I said, "Stop. No.
That's not how it."
I said, "You don't even know what that word means. You have no idea what that word means." And these people run around and they're like, "Oh, he doesn't need to do this." And Paul Bearer is, disrespectful, and it's just cheap heat, and it's not. You don't know what heat is. You don't know what cheap heat is. Just shut the fuck up and watch the show.
Well said.
Thank you. You could take any one of those people, and you can give them the position of booker, and they would lose their mind. Everyone loves being negative. Everyone loves, they shouldn't have done that. Punk came back too soon. They did it. And it's just like, shut up and enjoy it. I know sometimes it gets really, really bad. And then you can be vocal about that, but it's just like nobody lets anything play out. They forget. It's like they almost forget that there's going to be a Raw next week.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in to episode 67 of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast right here on MindedCarnage.com. Shout out to the MLC family. Also, make sure to check out the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Audio Boom, and YouTube. I'm soon the game of professional wrestling, Josh Lopez. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Notorious Joshi. Make sure to follow the official Twitter account for the Pro Wrestling Transcription site. It's at PW Transcripts. Pretty simple. I started this account on Tuesday morning in honor of the fact that this past week's SmackDown Live was the 100th article I've done on the site since I started it back in May. As always, you can check me out on the Pipe Bomb with McClellan Company on the NEI Wrestling Network. And like I mentioned before at the beginning of the podcast, any of the views that are expressed on this particular podcast are solely mine. It's not a representation of MLC or even the NEI Wrestling Network. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm pumped, man. It's SummerSlam week. It is SummerSlam week. But one more business we need to take care of before we get going here with the monologue. As always, if you're a supporter of this podcast, let the good people know about it. Let the universe know where the best wrestling podcast is coming from. Because your support means the world to me. You can leave a review for any of these podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, Audio Boom, or YouTube. If you just screenshot your reviews and send it to me on Twitter at NotoriousJoshi, I'll retweet it and give you a shout out on air. It's that simple. I'm not charging you guys to listen to this podcast. You get it free of charge here on Apple Podcasts, just the way it should be. And I'm bringing in something very different into this podcasting world that not a lot of other people are doing. It's cool that you have your favorites out there, but I think I'm changing the game for a better. And I just want to thank you guys again for taking time out of your busy schedules to listen to what I have to say. And hopefully I could be here and entertain you for the next 70 to 80 minutes and get your mind off of all the stupid shit that's going on in our country right now. And I just want to send my thoughts and condolences to all the families that are affected from the Charlottesville nonsense that was going on over the weekend, because that's what it was, nonsense. You're hearing the song in the background, Sky's the Limit by Biggie, and Biggie always said, you can't change the world if you can't change yourself. And I just find it funny that people go on social media talking about, we need to change this, we need to be better than this. But those same people at the same time will make excuses for our president. It's just very sad and unfortunate state of affairs that we have in this country, man. I live in a city where we have no self-respect of our life dependent on it. We don't even care about our lives. We kill little kids and all this other stuff. I don't advocate for that nonsense, because that's what it is nonsense. You can't solve any issues or any parts of conflict without gun violence. You're a coward. You don't need guns to handle your issues. And all this stuff with bigotry that's still going on in 2017 is just absolutely ridiculous. And then you have Nimrod reporters on Fox News and etc. talking about, the LGBT community is messing the country up too. Like, shut the fuck up already. Who cares? I have nothing against that community, but don't drag other people's communities into the whole world issue. It's not one specific thing that's making this country messed up. It's just everybody thinking like their shit don't stink, and that's my issue. And we have all these issues and all these, we go on these big soapboxes about what's right and what's wrong in this country. I'm just tired of it, because we have no morals anymore. We have no ethics. This country is more segregated than it's ever been before. I've been alive for over 20 years, and coming from the city that's mostly marketed as the most dangerous city in the United States, there's no way to look at this from a positive point of view. And I'm the one that preaches about positivity, and I'm the guy that wants everybody to look with this with a glass half empty point of view, especially in the wrestling world. But it's just our country and just the way we treat each other in general is just absolutely ridiculous. It's passe. We stuck with these old traditions that don't matter anymore. You're not bettering yourself in the process. And then we always gotta go on these stupid rages of attacks on social media because, I'm not a Donald Trump supporter and yada yada yada. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can't control the fact that people don't care for a guy that would rather go on a vacation than fix the real issues that are going on inside the country. And then when the issues arise, he tries to make an excuse for the people who do these type of things. I make no bones about it. I'm not a Trump guy. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm me. I could care less about politics. And I guess one of the main reasons I do this podcast and everything I'm doing is to help you guys get your mind off of things and help you guys enjoy wrestling a little bit more. Because when you're bringing real life points of views and real life stress into something that's supposed to be an escape, we're losing the purpose right before these shows even start at the end of the day. I feel like we look at wrestling too anally. Get your mind out of the gutter for those that are listening. I'm not talking about the actual anal or whatever, but I just think people are too stuck up these days. I do. I do. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's sports, wrestling, politics, movies, entertainment, whatever. We just look at this stuff too seriously, man. It's not the end of the world, and I'm just happy that I could come on here, be myself, give you my thoughts about wrestling. You could agree or disagree with me. That's perfectly fine. You're not gonna break my heart. Break my heart. I'm trying to remember who wrote that song. My grandpa would kill me if he's listening to this right now. Alright. Let's get to some more positive things, and let's get the show going off with a bang. I just finished a month journey of covering the New Japan G1 Climax Tournament. And I'll tell you this, folks. I've had my opinions on New Japan over the years, and I expressed it on the Pipe Bomb of the Cool Company, and I expressed it on this podcast before. I guess one of the main reasons why I was never a die-hard New Japan guy was the fact that I just never had access to covering it all the time, or getting New Japan World. I just didn't have the money for it. I didn't have Access TV, where Josh Barnett and Jim Ross do a great job doing commentary. I don't have Access TV. And when the opportunity came for me to actually cover the G1, I got to thank the good brother B-Rob for helping me on that end, because he helped me find a lead to watch these shows. And I covered the shows as they were. I didn't cover every G1 show live. I did the last one live, as I promised. I went to bed early on Saturday, and I woke up at 2 in the morning, make sure I got everything all set up for the article, and then started doing the article from 2 to 7 a.m. in the morning on Sunday. And I finished this long journey of Japan shows, and that's what it is. It's a long journey, but it was a journey that was worthwhile. I had a blast covering the G1 for the first time. I talked about it openly on social media over the past couple days of how the G1's helped me grow and have more of a connection with the New Japan style of wrestling and the company. I talked a little bit about that last week here on the podcast before I previewed the finals. And I'm not going to break down the whole show, because I already know there's a lot of people that have already done recaps of it, and I'm pretty sure you guys are probably done with talking about the G1 already. But I just wanted to say again, I want to give a shout out to all 16 competitors who busted their ass in this tournament and gave me something to work for in the meantime when I was not covering WWE shows or whatever. I had a blast covering the G1. This tournament and New Japan style of wrestling has helped me become a better play-by-play writer in regards to writing out sequences and moves and stuff. And again, I have a newfound love and respect for the New Japan style of wrestling. So I just want to give a shout out to all the 16 competitors who are in this year's G1 tournament, and I had a great time. The undercards this past weekend for all 3 shows at Sumo Hall were good. Getting to see Tanahashi versus Naito was good. Obviously, the third installment of Okada and Omega. I thought that match on Saturday was the best out of the 3 they had, because less was more. They didn't need 45 minutes, and it seemed like it had more of a purpose at this time. And I feel like at the end of the day, less is more in all types of wrestling. Now, you're going to tell me this is the main event of a WrestleMania or a WrestleKingdom or Ultimate Lucha Tres or whatever the big special is for any wrestling promotion out there. You have a main event and it's a big grudge feud and it's a big rivalry. Take as long as you need. Let the story pick how that is. Now, when you have tournaments or shows like Backlash or whatever, I don't need a 30-minute main event to justify the fact that it's a main event. Do what you have to do to make the main event worthwhile. And I think Okada and Omega did that tremendously on Saturday, and they did a phenomenal job. still, even for guys that were eliminated, they had good matches. Like Goto and Ibushi was a good one. Tomohiro Ishii and Zack Sabre Jr. had a very good match. Michael Elgin and Juice Robinson, they had a very good match. Tama Tonga and Sonata had a very good match. The list goes on and on and on, and all these guys had great matches. We had a title change on the final night of the G1. You had Taguchi and Ricochet become the new IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions as they defeated the Young Bucks, or the Bucks of Youth, as not Brother Carter, but Brother Moore would like to say. Yes. So that was part one of the big things that happened on Sunday, and then we had the finals of the G1 between Naito and Kenny Omega, which was a phenomenal match. I didn't get to see the match they had in last year's G1 because that was the B block final from last year's G1 Climax Tournament. It was probably the best decision to not have both of these guys in the same block, and that's the reason why they did it. I'm kind of happy that Naito won. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not one of those guys that come on here and talk about, oh, this guy should have won or that guy should have won. You guys know me by now. I don't care about the whole wins and loss record thing. Whether I'm entertained by the match or not, that's all I care about. If I can be entertained by the match and I can understand where the big picture standpoint is going, this particular feud, I really don't care who wins or loses at the end of the day. I make that point perfectly clear over the years. I enjoyed this match. I think it was cool that Naito won. Because, honestly, I did want to see something different at WrestleKingdom. Now, don't get me wrong. Okada and Omega matches are fun. I just wanted to see Naito against Okada at WrestleKingdom. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to see Okada versus Naito at WrestleKingdom. And it looks like we might have some more scenarios from some other matches that could happen at WrestleKingdom. Like Omega versus Kota Ibushi. Looks like there was some little backstage thing that was going on between them after the G1 this past Sunday. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tanahashi. I would love to see a match between Ishii and... I don't know. Let's do Ishii and Michael Elgin. Why not? I wouldn't mind seeing that. That'd be a lot of fun. It looks like Desperado's going to get an opportunity at the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship against Kushida. Juice Robinson could be in contention for a U.S. title shot with Kenny. We'll see about that in the future. The future is still out there for Hiroki Goto. Maybe we could see something with Goto. And let's see, who else was into it? Oh, well, let's see a match with Goto and Tonga. I don't know, something like that. The old guys that were in the tournament that had a big impact in my enjoyment for the tournament was Nagata and Satoshi Kojima. Just the fact that this is my first time covering these guys' matches. I've heard about them over the years. But it's a different thing when you hear about certain performers and then when you're covering their matches live as it's happening. And Nagata was I want to say the Brian Kendrick of the tournament, but the guy was really at the end of the rope for his career. That was his last G1. He'll never participate in any more G1 Climax tournaments going forward in the future. And that was the emotional story. And he brought it in every single match that he had in the tournament. There wasn't one match where you thought he may have had a chance to get the victory or the crowd wasn't interested in it. Every time he locked in that Fujiwara armbar, everybody was on their feet cheering for the guy. And even if I didn't understand anything the Japanese commentators were saying when Kevin Kelly and Don Callis were not calling those shows in that brief period of time, I heard the excitement that was going through not only the crowd but also through the announcers too. So something was special and something was working. Now, I love those solid matches where guys just beat the ever-loving crap out of each other. I mentioned this before. One of my favorite matches from the tournament was Ishii versus Makabe. They don't care. They'll just throw forearms for days. They don't care. I love the match Ishii had with Goto. I thought that was a fun match. Hell, even the main event one Ishii had with Naito, that was one of my favorite matches for the tournament. Tomohiro Ishii's the man. I don't care what anybody says. I'm a big fan of the Stone Cold Pitbull. There you go. Yeah, how about that? The Stone Cold Pitbull. That's pretty cool. That's a cool gimmick, right? We'll see. Yeah, so I had a great time covering the G1 Climax for the first time. Shout out to everybody who supported my play-by-play coverage of the G1 this year. You guys are the real MVPs. I appreciate the support. You can look back at all the articles I did for the G1 on ProWrestlingResults.wordpress.com or on my Twitter page at PW Transcripts. That's the official Twitter account for the Wrestling Results play-by-play articles website. So follow that at PW Transcripts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the conclusion for this week's monologue. We got a lot to get into. We're about to get into this week in WWE in RAW and SmackDown. But first, let's get into this week's YANClub audio moment of the week.
Bailey interview, they did make noise, and that was, certainly one of the more talked about segments of the show when she came out and, it threw her off. They were booing her. I was told that that the boos were not directed at her as much as directed at the booking of her, that the people just was kind of to do this displeasure.
And finally, this person says, do all of the mentions of Undertaker on television indicate he will be returning at some point?
I don't know. It's like it's.
I mean, they are flat out saying he's retired now, which they weren't doing for a long time. But now Roman's talking about how he retired the guy.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason to bring him back would be against Roman, and I don't see that at WrestleMania at all. Maybe the next year WrestleMania, maybe, but probably not. But there's a reason he retired. He needed a lot of surgeries. His body was really beaten up, real bad. It was time to go. He decided it was time to go before that, but he came back. So I had to put it this way. It's wrestling, and people can come out of retirement at any time. But do the mentions make me think that he's coming out of retirement imminently? No.
This one comes from Jishnu. Hey Aaron, is the WWE done with Mike and Maria? Any backstage heat perhaps? Losing to Sammy is even worse. It appears the feud is still going on. It feels like WWE really doesn't know what to do with the duo other than what has been done already. Like I said in previous videos, I think you need to evolve Mike Kanellis' character. He needs to not be the Mark Marrow to Maria's Sable. He needs to develop his own character and break out of his wife's bubble, so to speak. He needs to become his own man. I get the storyline, it's entertaining, but I think it's going to have a short shelf life, and I think it's going to be bad for Mike long term to be in this role where he's basically just in the shadow of Maria. He needs to step out. He needs more credibility. And, I like the act, but I think they need to evolve it. And if it just stays the way it is, Mike's going to become a statistic in WWE unless he can really take it to the next level.
Nibbling on fast food, acting like a damn fool. All of these wrestlers are covered in oil. Yum. Strumming my Johnson. Don't care if it's a sin. That KOBO's really starting to boil. Wasting away again in Margaritaville. Searching for my fake wrestling news. Some people say that it's my parents to blame, but it's my own damn fault. Marking for Finney, I'm dreaming he's with me. Hey, there goes Sammy and he's hailing a cab. Maurice can't wrestle. Huge moves, but she can't wrestle. F you, Roman, for being so fab. Wasted away again in Margaritaville. Longing for that fake wrestling news. Some people say that we are all so dumb, but we're not. We're simply awesome.
That right there, that's how you conclude a YANClub audio moment of the week. Holy shit, man. Wow. I'd love to give you guys some feedback on that, and if you ever have any suggestions and timestamp some of these clips from the YANClub audio moment of the week, it could be from any wrestling podcast. It doesn't have to be any of the specific guys I usually play on here. Please send it at Notorious Joshi or at Josh Lopez WWE94 at gmail.com. Also, if you'd like to be an advertiser and sponsor, like to do some business with the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, please send an email to Josh Lopez WWE94 at gmail.com using the subject line advertising. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get to the meat and potatoes of this week's podcast. And it's time to look at this week of WWE.
Sasha, congratulations on your victory over the Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss, getting her to tap out. Does this give you the mental edge going in to Great Balls of Fire this Sunday?
Did you see that out there? Was it 2 against 2? No, it was 2 against 1. You see, Alexa Bliss, I've known her for a very long time. Since NXT, she's a little snake. She's a little coward. And this Sunday, I'm going to prove just that. She's a coward champion. You know what? She could bring her little backstage friends. She could bring Nia Jax this Sunday. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to come up on top. And I am going to reclaim my Raw Women's Championship. Okay? Thanks.
Alexa, after Sasha Banks' victory versus Nia Jax, she looked straight at you and mouthed 4 times. How do you react to something like that heading into SummerSlam?
Please. Sasha's already tried to take this title multiple times and failed. She's going to need a lot more than a little hometown cheer to get through a match with me at SummerSlam. So yeah, I wish her good luck, boss.
Excuse me, Finn. What exactly was the gist of your meeting with Kurt Angle just now?
Charlie, I spoke to Kurt Angle, and I got my rematch with Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam. Bray Wyatt's got his demons. Well, this Sunday, he's gonna find out that I've got my demons too.
Gentlemen, victory tonight over the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The New Day. Is this a sign of things to come this Sunday at SummerSlam?
Is it a sign? Ooh, so what's the saying? Actions speak louder than words? Yeah, we just showed the whole WWE universe what the Usos about. We just showed New Day what the Usos about.
Yes, sir.
Come SummerSlam, you're looking at the 4-time WWE Tag Team Champion.
And it won't be paranoia. It'll be the Usos. Oh!
Why don't I have a match tonight? I thought last week we came to an understanding. I thought you were going to use your ravishing ambition to help me become champion. Tamina, you're not ready. Wait, I'm not ready? So what do you say? You say like you were ready when you had back-to-back-to-back title opportunities? Please, Lana. Tamina, they don't see you. Literally, they walk past you. They don't fear you. They don't fear me? What do you mean they don't fear me? They don't fear you. Yet. But if you follow my lead and listen, they will. Because I'm going to use my ravishing beauty, I'm going to use my cunning and manipulate my way into helping you. And then you will become the most destructive force with one single purpose: to crush. Together we'll become unstoppable. And then, and only then, you will be ready to become SmackDown Live Women's Champion.
We are a champion. Independence Day.
Excuse me, Jinder. Baron Corbin just unsuccessfully cashed in his Money in the Bank contract. You now don't have to worry about him at SummerSlam. How do you feel going against Shinsuke Nakamura?
Listen, I'm looking way past SummerSlam. I will beat Shinsuke Nakamura just like I was about to beat John Cena when Baron Corbin cashed in his Money in the Bank contract unsuccessfully. He is no longer a threat. He's at the back of the line now.
All the way back. At the bottom of the barrel, brother.
What a great day. What a great moment to cap off the day of celebrating India's Independence Day.
Hey, this interview's over. Get out of here.
Like I mentioned before, I don't want to keep you guys here too long. I know you guys got a lot of podcasts that you got to navigate through this weekend, especially since it's SummerSlam weekend. But I'll keep my thoughts on SmackDown and Raw really quick, really brief, so we can get into all predictions and analysis for this weekend's NXT TakeOver Brooklyn and SummerSlam, right? Really quick on Raw, I thought it was a very good show for Boston. I think a lot of people agreed Raw this week was a very, very good show. Just starting off from the top of the show where Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose reunited, how that planned out, and the crowd was truly into that. We found out it's going to be Sheamus and Cesaro against Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins for the Raw Tag Team titles at SummerSlam. Akira Tozawa is the new Cruiserweight Champion. I didn't see that coming. That really caught me by surprise. I have a feeling why that happened. I'm going to mention why in the prediction part of this podcast. But it was cool. I thought him and Neville had a very, very good match. Speaking of good matches, I thought the Hardys and Jason Jordan had a good match with the Miztourage. The very, very fun match. I thought Bray and Finn Travolta had a very good match. That's what I'm going to call him going forward. Unless he's Demon Key, I'm just going to call Finn Balor Finn Travolta. Him and Bray and Finn Travolta had their one-on-one match. He lost. Bray dumped a bunch of blood or whatever, velocity or liquid or whatever they called it on Finn Travolta. It was an interesting scene. The crowd was into that. We saw the attack that the Club of Bullets and Big Cass did to Big Show. Speculation up there that match might not happen. We'll see. Also, I enjoyed the face-to-face conversation with Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, and Braun Strowman. I've said this before 100 times, especially since this match has been made official. I feel that, for me, this may be my match of the year. You have four guys who could have valid reasons for winning and nobody would moan about it. These guys are going to beat the ever-loving you-know-what out of each other, and I can't wait to cover this match on Sunday. Also, another big part of the show was Sasha Banks making Nia Jax tap out in her hometown. So it'll be Sasha Banks against Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam for the Raw Women's Championship. I got to see my number one, Mickie James, on the show this past Monday, which is cool. She defeated Emma in a very solid match. And yeah, like I mentioned before, I thought Raw was very, very good this week. As far as SmackDown Live, I thought SmackDown Live was decent. The opening segment with Jinder and Nakamura was very, very funny. I had a great laugh out of it, especially the Jinder part of the segment. People come on here on these podcasts and talking about how Jinder brings nothing to the table, and they'll bring up why is WWE trying to make the U.S. hate India? They're not trying to make you hate India. They're trying to make you hate Jinder. and all these people bring, well, he's from Canada. Well, I was born here in Chicago, but does that make me not Puerto Rican? I was born here in Chicago, and let's say I was a wrestling character and I represented a Puerto Rican. Oh, would I not be able to be portrayed as a Puerto Rican because I was born in Chicago? Okay, Jinder spent his childhood in Canada. Big deal. He has Indian heritage in his blood. He's Indian. I've never understand that argument against Jinder. Well, he's from Canada. Oh, they're telling him out to be Muhammad Hassan, but he's from Canada. Who cares? You know, there's a big Indian market out there in Canada. There's a big portion of Indians here in Chicago. I know that because I live here. I never understand that argument towards Jinder. And then here's another thing on Jinder. Oh, Jinder never brings anything to the table in the ring. Oh, his matches are so plotted and boring and this and that. Well, the last 2 weeks would say otherwise. I think putting on good main event matches with Randy Orton and John Cena would say otherwise. Yeah. And by the way, it's not me pointing out how good Jinder is. Let everybody's favorite promoter, Triple H, and everybody's favorite booker in today's wrestling, let him tell you that Jinder is going on the right path right now. Because he mentioned that last night in his NXT TakeOver press conference call with the media, and he put Jinder over. So I must not be blind. Me and B-Rob may not be the only people that are oblivious to this. Are not oblivious to this, because we're not. We've always been supporters of Jinder since the beginning. My point is, for all these people and Molotov and everybody else from the NEI network, Jinder, it continues to improve in spite of you, and that's what pisses you off. You got an old school heel that gets better week in and week out, and you want him to lose. He's working you. You can make the excuse of, oh, this is not something where I want to see him lose. Oh, this is a scenario where I just want to see him lose the title, and this is something that makes me want to turn my TV off. Sure. Because if he was doing this character right now, and you would have your status quo champions of Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles and anybody else that would have been the champion at the time, you'd be like, oh, why not give Jinder a chance? I know how this game works, folks. I know how this game works. People and podcasts talk out of both sides out of their mouth. That's what it is. And I just find it funny that people are so persistent on dogging this guy. For what purpose when he's doing his job right? I'm not one of those guys to come on here and say, oh, these people don't like this sort of character because of racism. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case for some of these people. I wouldn't be surprised. This country is filled with negative people, man. And anytime you have a foreign character as a champion or something like that, this is not worth any time. Anytime a foreign champion is a foreign champion, if it's not Nakamura or anybody else from the Indies, it's sacrilege. How could you have Alberto Del Rio as a champion? I hate Alberto Del Rio as a person, but as a character, I would understand why he was the champion. I understood why the Great Khali was the champion. That didn't last long. For obvious reasons, he wasn't good. But this constant nagging of Jinder Mahal just shows how not smart you are to the business. You have everybody from JR to Steve Austin to everybody else, from Triple H, the guy that you guys love and get on your knees for your precious NXT. Even Triple H is pointing out how much Jinder Mahal has improved and doing a great job and took a second chance and bettered himself and tried to make the best out of his first situation. When you have performers that miss on their first opportunity and they don't have the greatest win-loss record, and they go out there in the indie scene and try to better themselves and reinvent themselves like Drew McIntyre. Oh, it's okay for Drew McIntyre to reinvent himself and do something different and get in better shape and revise his career. But no, Jinder Mahal can't do it because Jinder Mahal is just a business prop. Really. To act like this guy has not improved one bit since he became the champion back in May, you're being intolerant. And I don't blame Jinder for ripping America because people in America are intolerant. We get on these soapboxes, oh, where's the real heels? We got a real heel as the champion. But no, you want to go the status quo route. And, oh, let's have Kevin Owens as the champion. I love Kevin Owens. That's not the point. The point is, give the guy some credit, man. You're going to tell me he did not do a good job with John Cena? You're not going to point out the fact that the people in Providence were booing him out of the building during the opening segment of SmackDown this week? Just stop. Enough already. God, man. I would wish that Muhammad Hassan became the champion back in the Ruthless Aggression era to show how angry these dirt sheet guys and other podcast guys would have been at that time if Muhammad Hassan became the champion. Because you want to talk about heat, that guy got heat. Jinder Mahal also gets heat too, but hey, we can handle heat in professional wrestling in 2017, right? Now let's talk about something else that was kind of controversial for this week's SmackDown, huh? Baron Corbin cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase after running it and causing disqualification for the John Cena Jinder Mahal match. Baron Corbin loses out of a schoolboy roll from behind after trying to take a swing at John Cena. Jinder pins Corbin from behind as a heel would, and Corbin lost his Money in the Bank opportunities. Originally, when I saw Baron Corbin win the Money in the Bank ladder match at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, I didn't have a problem with it because I don't mind seeing different guys from NXT or different guys that are just products of the Performance Center, not the indie scene, getting opportunities too. You know what I mean? So I didn't have a problem with that, but from a character standpoint, I never saw Baron as a guy who would cash in his briefcase as a chicken shit heel and do what Edge did and Seth Rollins, all those other guys. I don't see that in Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is Baron Corbin, and I think that Baron Corbin would be able to win matches and feuds straight up. He wouldn't need a briefcase to bail him out. So I didn't have an issue with him losing the briefcase because I didn't think he needed the briefcase. I didn't, but that's the cards we're dealt with. And sometimes, when it comes to these Money in the Bank scenarios, some of the guys are not going to win. It just is what it is. But what happened on SmackDown added more fuel to the fire to the two marquee attraction matches for the SmackDown brand besides AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. They added more steam to the Jinder and Nakamura match. Now you want Jinder to really, really lose in Brooklyn. And now you added a purpose and more steam into the John Cena Baron Corbin match at SummerSlam. How's that not good booking? I don't know. I don't know. We have to look at this from a bigger picture standpoint. Nothing about that didn't make sense. You're a heel. Jinder just took an avalanche AA off the top rope. He was about to lose. He was laid out in the corner for like 7 minutes. He had the perfect opportunity. John Cena, Mr. Mr. Positive, I'm the role model. John Cena cost Baron Corbin the Money in the Bank briefcase. That's the story. John Cena is transitioning into a different role. John Cena is going to be heading to Raw soon. So think about this. Do you think that Baron Corbin would have a bigger impact by being the reason why John Cena left SmackDown as opposed to being the reason he cashed in on Jinder Mahal, because everybody hates Jinder Mahal in the IWC. What's the bigger moment? Yes, becoming the WWE champion is important. I agree. Yes, it would be important. But at the same time, I feel like Corbin would have a bigger impact by beating Cena on Sunday at SummerSlam and being the kayfabe reason why he had to go to Raw. That's just my opinion. You can agree or disagree. It is what it is. But I just wanted to say I enjoyed SmackDown this week. We're ready to get into our predictions. Yes. For NXT TakeOver Brooklyn and SummerSlam. We have 17 matches that we got to go through, so I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible and let you guys go off for the week. All right, here we go. Start from NXT. I'll just say this. I've been enjoying covering NXT weekly again over the past couple weeks. There's been some really good action, and like the group they have now, Street Profits. I think they're pretty cool. So, all right, here we go. I'm not going to give you, like, why I'm interested in this match or yada 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 or stuff like that. I'm just going to give you straight predictions, alright? NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, here we go. And by the way, when it comes to takeovers, can we stop getting on these soliloquies about, oh, these takeovers are better than Big Four shows? They're two different beasts. Okay, I would hope that the NXT TakeOver level of a Mania show would be good, you know what I mean? But let's stop comparing things. It's the same company. You tried to make NXT seem like a company on its own. It's not. It's part of the WWE. Unless I see those turnbuckles not with WWE logos, unless I don't see an NXT show that's produced with a WWE logo on the right-hand corner of the screen, it's still a WWE property. I don't care what anybody says. There will be no competition between NXT and the main roster. There won't. There never will. But here we go. NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. I'm looking forward to the show. It should be a lot of fun. I'll be covering it this Saturday on my website, prowrestlingresults.wordpress.com. Here we go. First match. Authors of Pain defending their NXT Tag Team titles against Sanity. I think the Authors of Pain are going to win here. I have a feeling that Sandy may be one of the next groups to go up to the next level. I think this match will be okay. I wouldn't say I'm on pins and deals for this match, but I think this match will serve its purpose, and I think the Authors of Pain will get a more dominant victory this time than they did at NXT TakeOver Chicago. Speaking of NXT TakeOver Chicago, the woman who was supposed to fight the girl who was supposed to fight Asuka at NXT TakeOver Chicago, Ember Moon, will be taking on Asuka for the NXT Women's Championship. I have a feeling that Ember will actually end Asuka's winning streak. I think Asuka's going to go to Raw, and I think Ember Moon will defeat Asuka and end her winning streak in NXT, and it'll be a new era for the NXT Women's Division, especially with the fact that the Mae Young Classic will be starting soon, and you'll get some of those performers in the NXT Women's Division. So I'm going to go Ember Moon to win the NXT Women's Championship. That one's for B-Rob. Next one, my boy Aleister Black versus Hideo Itami. I'm going to go with Aleister Black, but I wouldn't be surprised if Hideo Itami wins. I'm really looking forward to this match. And when it comes to pay-per-views, you usually have wild card matches. What I mean by wild card matches, for me, a wild card match for me is a match where I don't care who the guy wins. I just want to see I just want to see the match, and I want to be enjoyed by the match. Whoever wins, no harm, no foul for me. That's why I feel like Black and Itami is a wild card match for me. Not only for that reason, but also a wild card match in the fact of stealing the show as well. So I'm going to go Aleister Black to defeat Hideo Itami. I'm going to go Gargano to walk through Almas. I'll admit, I'm not a big Johnny Cena Almas guy. I'm not. I see nothing in his character. I'm not really a big fan of the guy, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go with Gargano. By the way, I'm just going to take a swig of water for the hardworking man out there. Alright, there you go. Woo! Shout out to the Nature Boy. Hope he's getting better, man. Really very unfortunate news to start out the week. All right, time to go to the main event. Bobby Roode, Drew McIntyre. Bobby Roode will defeat Drew McIntyre at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. I do not see Bobby Roode going up to the next level anytime soon. You probably hold that off until the Raw after WrestleMania. I do not see Bobby Roode losing to Drew McIntyre. I think the match will be fun. I think it'll be entertaining. It'll be a good main event. But Bobby Roode will still be your NXT champion at the end of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Alright, folks, that's my predictions for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. I'll be covering that on Saturday night on my website, Pro Wrestling Transcriptions. Yes. Follow that on Twitter at PW Transcripts on Twitter and at ProWrestlingResults.wordpress.com. Make sure to bookmark that website so you can get all my play-by-play articles. So you got play-by-play articles. It's going to be a busy night for me on Sunday as we got the kickoff show and SummerSlam. A lot of matches announced for this year's event from the Barclays Center. Looks like we're going to have 3 matches on the kickoff show. Starting off here with the Usos versus the New Day. I think the New Day will win because Big E's part of the match, but I think the New Day win. I would hope that the Usos would win, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. I think the New Day will retain, and then they'll probably go transition into a different feud or something. But these 2 tag teams have been doing a very, very good job on SmackDown Live, and they deserve a lot of credit. So, New Day retains over the Usos. Next one, Naomi versus Natalya. Alright? I'm going with Natalya to submit Naomi. I think Natalya will make Naomi submit to the sharpshooter, and then Carmella will attack Natty from behind with the briefcase and cash in her Money in the Bank briefcase. Carmella will be your new SmackDown Live Women's Champion coming out of SummerSlam. That's right, I'll go with Carmella. Third match, Neville versus Akira Tozawa. You know what? I'm going to go with Neville here. I have a feeling this is one of those scenarios where you have a child change on television, but it goes back to the champion on the kickoff show. This to extend the feud. And I think Neville could win here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tozawa win, and I wouldn't be mad if Tozawa win. Either way, I'm looking forward to this match. These guys have good chemistry in the ring, and it'll be a very fun match to cover. Tozawa versus Neville for the Cruiserweight title. You know, I'll change my mind. I think Tozawa will retain, actually. I think Tozawa will retain. Let's go to the main show really quick. Start off with Big Show and Big Cass. Get that out of the way. I think Big Cass will beat Big Show. Randy Orton and Rusev, I'm looking forward to that match. This is the first time Randy Orton will fight Rusev on a pay-per-view. There's a lot of firsts in this pay-per-view in regards to one-on-one matches on pay-per-view. My bad. Rusev and Randy Orton. I'm going with Rusev to beat Randy Orton. I'll say this though, that RKO that Randy hit on SmackDown this week was dope though. Especially how they had that camera angle. That was really out of nowhere. So I think Rusev will surprise everybody, and I think Rusev will beat Randy Orton at SummerSlam and will have their feud go on. I wouldn't be surprised if we had Rusev and Randy Orton in a Hell in a Cell match later on this year, because Hell in a Cell is going to be a SmackDown pay-per-view for the SmackDown Live brand. Next match. Here we go. We have Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins against Sheamus and Cesaro. I'm going with Ambrose and Rollins to become the new the new Raw Tag Team Champions. I think that'll be a very good match. It's going to be a lot of fun to cover that one. Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss. Man. This one is 50-50. This is one of those wild card matches for me, because I don't know what will happen, and either way I can find a reason as to why it would work. I'm gonna go with. I have a sneaky suspicion that Alexa will retain. I'm going with Alexa to retain because I think she needs one of those marquee, clean victories on a Big Four show. And I think her beating Sasha at SummerSlam will solidify her in a big way. But yes, I think Alexa will beat Sasha at SummerSlam. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Sasha won, though, too. I'll throw that out there. I'll throw that caveat out there. Baron Corbin, John Cena. I'm going with Baron Corbin. Finn Balor as Demon versus Bray Wyatt. I think the Demon King will beat Bray Wyatt. Let's see what else we have here. We have a lot of matches for SummerSlam this year. Just give me 1 second here. I'm pulling up the card right now. La dee da da la da dee da. La dee da dee da 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 da. All right, Orf. All right, so it got the card right here. Just give me 1 second. Stupid iPhone is acting up. All right, I got it. We have next here AJ Styles, Kevin Owens for the U.S. title. AJ Styles will beat Kevin Owens. I think this will lead into the feud with him and Shane McMahon. Kevin Owens will feud with Shane McMahon very soon. So I'm going to go with AJ Styles. Jinder versus Nakamura. Jinder Mahal will defeat Nakamura at SummerSlam. I don't care what anybody says. Jinder Mahal is beating Nakamura at SummerSlam. Period. End of story. Jinder Mahal will indeed beat Nakamura at SummerSlam and retain the WWE title. Other matches, the last one, obviously the big fatal 4-way, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, and Braun Strowman. I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar to retain. As much as I would love to see somebody beat him and have the title on television each week, I just have a feeling that Brock's going to go all the way into WrestleMania as a champion and find a way somehow to win. Whether that's pinning Roman or something like that, just like how it was for that Royal Rumble triple threat match from the 2015 Rumble. I have a feeling Brock will be taken out early, but he just absolutely snaps at the end and he finds a way to win. So Brock Lesnar will retain his Universal Championship at SummerSlam. Alright, folks, that's my predictions for SummerSlam. Just want to go over the card really quick one more time before we head out here. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins will become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. I have Corbin beating John Cena. The Demon will beat Bray Wyatt. Big Cass beats Big Show. Rusev over Randy Orton. AJ Styles over Kevin Owens. Jinder will defeat Nakamura. Alexa Bliss retains over Sasha. Natalya makes Naomi submit while having Carmella cash in for her new Money in the Bank briefcase. The New Day retain against the Usos. And Tozawa retains against Neville. And then finally, Brock Lesnar will retain the Universal Championship over Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, and Braun Strowman. That's my predictions for the 30th annual SummerSlam coming live this Sunday on the WWE Network for the Barclays Center. Like I mentioned before, check out my coverage for both NXT TakeOver and SummerSlam on ProWrestlingResults.wordpress.com. You can check me out on the Pipe Bomb with McClure Company on the NAI Wrestling Network this weekend. We're going to have the Absolute Mule, Brother Carter, as a special guest on the podcast this week, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And also, you can check out the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Audio Boom, and YouTube. Also, you can check out the podcast on MindandCarnage.com. Shout out to the entire MOC family out there. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at NotoriousJoshi. I want to thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know a lot of things going on in the world here, but hope I was able to get your mind off of things and give you something to think about as we head into this weekend's SummerSlam. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to covering the event as a fan and just have a good time. I just want to give one tip before we head out here. Remember, try to enjoy these shows. Don't feel like you have to live tweet during the show. You want to praise the match? Cool, I get it. But if you're just going to watch SummerSlam just to live tweet and moan and complain about it, you're just wasting your time. And then you're going to complain about wasting 6 hours of your time. So, you pick your use your priorities for the right reasons. And always remember, you are the director of your life story. Don't let anybody impugn your character or your integrity at the end of the day. This is your life story. Film it your way. Love you guys. I'll recap SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 next week with the good brother, Ronnie Starks. That's right, Ronnie Starks will be returning to the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast next week. Enjoy SummerSlam, enjoy TakeOver Brooklyn, Homecoming, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Adios, everybody. Love you.